Good morning. I got my microphone on this morning. Um, I might have to buy a different microphone though because they give you these little fuzzy balls to put. Oh, let me back up and say, I first of all am Nicole D Ford, and D as in delightful, D as in delicious, D as in I was gonna say dominant, but that sounds weird. There's lots of wonderful D words that I can't think of. Maybe I'll go to Google and have Google give me a list so that I'm not at a loss for ideas. But I'm here at the Las Vegas Convention Center. I have arrived early as usual, not knowing what the parking situation was going to be like, and I'm happy to say that I got a great parking spot, and so I thought I was going to have to do a lot of walking and everything else, and so now I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to get my 4,000 steps in because I parked so close. But I'll get them in, and even if I have to either top off my walking. Wait, there's a truck going by. I just want to see how this sounds because I don't know. This is my first time using my mic. Okay, so the sound sounds okay. I feel like it sounds a little bit like I'm talking into a can though. And so I'm going to ask somebody for a better mic recommendation because the mic I got, was really economical. And I probably could do better. Um, but anyways, it's fine for now because there is a lot of background noise going on where I am. I have the window cracked and it actually doesn't, it seems like it's canceling out that noise, which is cool. But anyway, the fuzzy ball that I was trying to talk about before I cut my own self off, I can't, my fingers are too big or something. I can't figure out the opening to the fuzzy ball to actually put it on top of the mic. So that's probably making a difference too. Anyway, I got here early because I did know what the parking was going to be like, and I got a great parking spot. So now I'm just chilling in the car because I got here super early. My lips are chapped. So I would say that this background noise that's in the environment that I'm sitting in, I really don't like it. It's not very peaceful. It sounds like a motor running and it's in a garage and I'm not loving that. But maybe if I roll my window up, I won't hear it. But then I'm worried about it being too hot. But let me see if I roll up my window, if that'll be better. Yep, much more peaceful. And if I get hot, then I can just crack the window and stop talking. Nervous system regulated. It's nice and quiet now. And so I have a whole list of blog topics, and I do not know why I feel like saving these topics until I'm sitting in the car, but I seem to enjoy sitting in the car blogging, and also too, it helps pass the time when I get here early for work and then am trying to find parking and make sure that I secure parking. And then I'm sitting in the car with nothing better to do except to work on my to-do list, catch up on emails, scroll social media if I want to, etc. So having some vlog topics saved up is actually helpful to pass the time because it's about 7:40 this morning and I don't have to go, well, I don't have to check in until 9 o'clock, but I'm going to go in at 8:15 so that I can make sure I know where the check-in spot is, and that if I have to go to the restroom, go ahead and get that done, etc. So at 8:15, I have my alarm set to go inside, even though I'm right outside the convention center. So I don't have to have a lot of lead time this time to walk and get to where I need to go. Um, but anyway, one of the things I wanted to talk about, and this is actually not even on my list, but this morning I was really, really in my feelings. And I was in my feelings because I am basically, and I don't even know if this is something that I can say that I cultivate and that I, uh, I mean, obviously my life is created by my choices, right? And so I feel like there's something that I need to potentially consider doing differently. And the reason why I'm saying that is because y'all know, if you've been following my vlogs since July of last year, I had a quote unquote friendship breakup. I mean, it's not even quote unquote, it really was a friendship. But this friendship is also not by blood relation, but this friendship was also considered a family member, in terms of not by blood, but just by long term family type bonds and all that stuff. You know how you have an auntie that's not really blood related, but whatever. And so basically, by this friendship breaking up, um, I have basically lost the family once again, that I thought I had here in Las Vegas. And I'm all alone. And like I said, part of it is definitely my responsibility because I am introverted and therefore I love my own company. I love um, being, with myself. I enjoy my own company. And so it really puts me in a situation where I don't have somebody to count on in the case of an emergency. Like, I don't have somebody that I could say, "Oh, I'm in the hospital. Can you come help me?" Or, "I'm in the hospital. Can you bring me food?" Or, "I'm in the hospital. Can you come see me, come visit me because I'm by myself?" Like, I had that last year, and now I don't have it again because the friendship broke up. And not only did the friendship break up, but then all the surrounding family that came with that friendship, I lost again. So it puts me in a very vulnerable position of just feeling like, my God, if something happened, I don't even have somebody that I could call except like a paid provider. Like like last in 2024 when I went to the hospital, my mom flew down here to help take care of me when I was in the hospital and had my surgery because I had basically nobody. Um, and like I said, part of it, I guess, is me not cultivating enough friendships to where it's hard for me though because my social battery gets drained, and so I don't know how to. I'm getting hot. I don't know how to make enough friendships and expand my circle enough to where if I really needed help that I could ask somebody for help. And some of that is also too just being afraid of being vulnerable and having to ask for help. And so it really scares me a little bit that I'm 56, I'm about to be 57, and that I really don't have that safety net of like I'm not lonely at all. Like I don't need connection. Like, I don't need connection and people to hang out with. Like, that's not my issue because I go places by myself, and you can see I have total fun with people when I go out and everything else. But my concern is that if I have an emergency and I need to call on somebody, I have no one to call on. Like, for example, I need to have a colonoscopy. And I had a friend um, several years ago, like maybe 6 or 7 years ago, who actually got up early, took me to the place where I had the colonoscopy, and stayed and made sure everything was okay, and then brought me home. I had that, which was good. But then um, she's in a situation where she's taking care of somebody, and we are not as close as we used to be. And our closeness was based on proximity in terms of us working together on something. And also, too, I think because of COVID, whereas I would have made work friends in proximity of like working in an office together or whatever, I haven't done that either because I've been working from home. So, anyways, it just scares me that I don't have anybody. And so I have to have a colonoscopy again. And it's like last year I could have relied on this so-called family to help me. To I could have asked them, "Hey, can you take me to my colonoscopy appointment? Can you stay here while and make sure everything's okay, and then bring me home?" Or if I had, like in 2024, I had a situation where I was in the hospital and I needed to I think I needed to bring my garbage cans in or something like that. And I had nobody to do it. Again, also my problem because I don't want to talk to my neighbors. So if I actually had a relationship with my neighbors, and granted, I have gotten better with being at least on a text basis with my neighbors, but it's like I isolate myself because I don't want to be socially drained. But then the consequence of that is that in case of an emergency, which hopefully I never have an emergency, I have no one. Can anybody relate to that? Like, am I the only one? Anyway, so this morning I was in my feelings of just like, it really sucks that by me breaking up with that friend, I lost everybody again that I consider family here in Vegas. And because I poured all of my energy into that relationship and those relationships, I have to start all over again with building friendships and building that in case of emergency kind of network. And that really, I hate that because it puts me in a very vulnerable position. But the good news is that I am building new relationships, and the other thing too is that I feel like it's a detriment to me because I don't like talking on the phone, and so I guess I felt like I am not worthy of friendship because I only like to text, DM, social media comments, stuff like that, and then my own vlogs. I really don't like talking on the phone. A, I'm kind of hard of hearing a little bit, and so sometimes I don't even know what people are saying. And then B, I like to look at people when I'm talking to them, so that I could see that what I'm saying is interesting, and so and that they're not doing 10 million things while they're talking to me. So I really don't enjoy talking on the phone. I would prefer, if I have to talk on the phone, to do it by appointment or by Zoom. And I just feel like that also is a weakness for me because how am I going to make friendships if I don't want to talk to my girlfriends? And also, too, because I was in a relationship for 20 years, I kind of had an automatic built in kind of quote unquote best friend through my husband for 20 years. And so he was always somebody that I could count on. And so I wasn't forced to, I had some close friends though, like, that I could have called that came to visit me in the hospital and all the things. But I don't know. It's just something that I'm working on. And so this morning I was in my feelings about it of just like, oh, it's such a vulnerable position to be in, to feel that desperate sense of like, not that I need friendship, but just if I have an emergency, I have nobody now because I lost all that quote unquote support that I had through that one goddamn relationship. And so I fucking hate that. And, they're basically um, not really speaking to me. And I would say they, um, but the support system I had, um, I'm still in the family group chat. I didn't get kicked out of that, but nothing is happening in that group chat. So I feel like because I'm here in Vegas, I'm alone. And I feel like part of it is my own doing because of my nature. And so I'm just still trying to figure out how to navigate that. So I'm going to pause there. So it's hard for me to figure this part out just um, because a lot of times I really just don't feel like talking to people. And then on top of that, I work in a customer facing role where I have to talk to people basically all day. And even if I'm not talking to um, attendees at an event, then I'm talking to my partner that's sitting next to me. And so it's like talking all day. And so I do not like to talk sometimes. I like being quiet. And so I'm still navigating things. I am happy with the the sisterhood circles that I'm in and that I'm forming. And I do feel like if I really needed to, and what I love about them is that none of them, I don't even have their phone number for most of them. I'm just doing interactions on social media as well as DM messages and all the things. So I'm really loving that aspect of it in the hope that I can form bonds and that people feel connected to me without me having to do a lot of talking. And if I do talking, that it's vlog based and that I could, like I love posting in the group and posting videos to the group and all the things. So that's pretty cool. Um, I was just considering whether or not I wanted to post a video to the group this morning. Anyway, I'm still trying to navigate this whole friendship thing because there were really aspects of the friendship that I had last year that I enjoyed. But at the same time, there are things that were just unacceptable to me, like that I didn't like. And so, I don't want to go through life thinking that everything hinged on one person. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the vulnerable position that I put myself in when I poured everything into that one connection and one relationship. Like I said, we had every all kinds of things that we had together, and that really, really left me in a lurch. And I did it to myself, so I don't want to blame that person for anything. I did it to myself. It was my choices. Whew. Anyway, what time is it? I am. It's also to the other huge thing is that I'm trying to learn how to build relationships without doing anything, and that's also a big deal. That's a huge deal because before, most of my relationships that I developed either were proximity based or based on me doing a whole lot and me over functioning. And so now it's about being me and not doing anything extra to win people's friendships or approval or a sense of belonging. Like my sense of belonging was based on usefulness. And so that's also new for me. And I think that's also why I was in my feelings this morning of like, who am I if I'm not doing anything for anybody? I'm pouring into myself. And how do I develop my tribe from that? So, anyways, I'm going to go now because I said a lot and these were two important topics. And my voice is getting scratchy. So, I'm going to go ahead and call it a day and get ready to put my shoes on and go inside. It's been lovely talking to you. Even though I don't know who anybody is that I'm talking to, it's been lovely. I've enjoyed this very much. So the other thing I would say, I put my mic away, so I don't know how the sound is going to be. But the other thing I wanted to add is that I don't know that being friends with other introverts is the right thing either, only because I have tried to connect with someone who I found to be introverted, I think, maybe. And we basically really didn't have much to talk about or to say to each other. And so that was kind of weird. So I'm not really sure what type of people are my tribe. Although, like I said in another vlog, I do like the ladies that I'm connected with through the Empowering Women Promoting Health and Fixing Crowns group. I really do like them a lot. A lot. But again, not trying to push myself too hard on them because I'm desperate for an emergency contact is the part that I'm also working on, moderating myself and not pushing too hard to find a replacement for that emergency need. It's not a replacement for a need of friends. It's just a replacement for who's going to take me to my colonoscopy. Even though I understand that I could call and pay for a medical transport, which is what I think I'm going to do for that particular procedure. But still, it's just scary to me to have had somebody last year and now have nobody again because this so-called family is not inviting me to anything anymore, not texting me, not reaching out, not doing anything. And maybe it's because of some of the things that I've said in my vlog, and I don't want to go backwards. I don't want to have to take back how I feel and what I said in order to have a sense of belonging with them. I would rather have a sense of belonging being myself and having people who accept me for who I am now versus who they want me to be. Also, too, let me just clarify that the person that I'm thinking of that I try to form a connection with that I said is introverted, I think they're probably not introverted, that they're more have social anxiety than they are introverted. And so that could be a factor. But I don't know. Because I did in high school, I had two friends that I think that I'm learning are more on the introverted side. And I didn't even realize that until as an adult, still being connected with them, realizing, oh, y'all are introverted? I didn't know that. And so maybe introverted is the way to go, but I'm a different kind of introvert in the sense that I actually like to go out and have a good time. And here I am about to go to a show that has thousands of people, and not a show, but I'm working at an event that has thousands of people, and I actually enjoy being amongst the people, even though I need to recharge my batteries. So I'm a weird type of introvert in the sense that I do like to be amongst people, but still be in my own little bubble when I'm amongst people. So I'm just kind of a weirdo in that sense. But maybe I shouldn't even say that about myself, because maybe that's part of the problem, is that I think there's something different or unique about me that I think is problematic for people, and maybe I should stop thinking that way. Maybe I should just be myself and let my tribe find me. And so it's just the desperation of what am I going to do in the case of an emergency. And the thing is that I've been basically here in Vegas alone since I broke up with that same family in 2013 and didn't have family. So I've been navigating this situation since 2013. Then we reconciled in 2024 and we're really together in 2025, and then it broke up. And so, yeah. I guess history shows that these are not people that I should really rely on or consider as family, period. You know what I mean? Like, I should have learned my lesson, I guess, from that the first time. Anyway, it's time to go now. I got my shoes on. Time to have a beautiful day. I'm going to make it a great day. So, I just want to say that I am feeling so much better that I talked about that, and I made it to where I needed to check in, and I'm just chilling waiting for things to get started. And the other very important lesson learned is to diversify my portfolio. When I say that, meaning even though being introverted, I probably have in the past kind of been just around a few small handful of people, that I'm definitely expanding my horizons now so that I don't end up in the same vulnerable position. I love when they feed us. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. Let's see if this mic is working. Okay, I know I said that I was going to, well, let's start off and say, first of all, I am Nicole D. Ford. D is in delightful. I haven't got other D words yet. And look, I have a gray in my eyebrows. Oh. But hey, at least I'm still alive. That's a beautiful thing. And anyway, so I'm Nicole D. Ford. D is in delightful, delicious. I can't think of other appropriate D words, but damn fine. Anyway, damn beautiful, but yeah, D. Anyway, so I am out here at the Las Vegas Convention Center, and the time right now is, 8:36 a.m. I am working in the VIP lounge here at the show, and so I have to be there at 9:30, so I have a little bit of time. Of course, I'm going to go in earlier to uh, go to the bathroom if I need to and all the things. And it'll probably take me like 10 minutes to get from the car where I'm parked over to the lounge, because the lounge is in the back corner of the hall. But anyways, I have a couple things on my list that I wanted to talk about this morning. Today is Wednesday, April 1st, 2026. April Fool's Day. I don't have any April Fool's joke prepared to put out there, so if I come up with something, we'll do it. But I don't have anything for April Fool's Day. And and so, anyways, what I was saying is, I know I said that I would consider getting a better microphone, but actually listening back to it, it's like it doesn't sound that bad to me. And so I'm okay. A bus just went by. I want to hear and see if it canceled out the bus noise. Hold on. Okay, I just listened back to it. It does still sound a little bit like I'm talking into a can. So we'll see if it bothers me when I start listening back to the videos when I'm editing them. There comes a truck, but I think the noise cancellation is okay. Um, but yeah, today is Wednesday, April 1st, and I'm working all day, 9:30 to 5. And I love uh, I love what I do, in the sense of like I've done a lot of jobs that have been technically difficult, and maybe not as difficult as rocket science, but just technically challenging, or boring, like super boring, like stuff that just does not excite me. And so, I've actually, if I think about it, I have found ways to make certain things exciting, that I've had to do, but um, just like, like when you say accountant or auditor and the things that I've done, um, some of it has really been kind of technically challenging, and then on top of that, not exciting, just boring. And like I said, I found ways to make it more interesting to myself, but just not really my cup of tea. And so I'm just so happy to be like in a situation where, first of all, it's not hard. Of course, I'm not making as much money as I was making before, but it's not hard. The only challenging part is dealing with people. And so when you're dealing with people, there were times yesterday where people, we had to turn them away from the VIP lounge, because the lounge was serving lunch, and they didn't have VIP. And so, there are certain things like that where, you might upset people and they might be frustrated, but most people handled it very well when we had to turn them away. There was one guy who who didn't, but even that, you just kind of learn to just say I'm sorry a lot, um, and try to diffuse or de-escalate anything where a person is upset. So speaking of that, one of the things that I want to talk about is that I think in a previous vlog that I said that generally speaking, for the most part, I'm pretty calm. And I want to say that that has not always historically been the case in terms of being calm. Like I might be calm in front of the outside world, but then in my home life, not be very calm. Or if something was really stressing me out or causing me anxiety, I haven't necessarily been calm. And so I have this situation with my HSA, and this is where the curse words start to want to come out, and the non-calm starts to come out for me, because I had an HSA account. I have an HSA account, and the good news about my HSA account is that they send me my card when it expires, and then also too, hold on, the car is pulling up next to me. So it's so crazy. I've been sitting in this parking lot for a while because I probably spent the first half hour that I was sitting here going through my to-do list and my emails and all that stuff and getting myself organized. And there was nobody parked next to me. Soon as I plugged in my mic and got ready to start vlogging, it's like two different cars pulled up next to me to fill in the parking spaces. So I've had to pause my vlogging. But anyway, it's all good. So, anyways, for my HSA account, I had a decent amount of money in the account, and I got laid off in January of 2024. And since that time, I have not been able to access my actual account to see what my balance is, what my spending is, what's being charged to my card. I can't see it. And it's so frustrating to me because I've contacted Anthem several times to let them know that I cannot see my HSA account. And so what Anthem will do is say, oh, your account, since the medical plan, you're no longer part of the medical plan that you were in with your employer. Um, you need to access your HSA account through WealthCare Saver. So then I contact WealthCare Saver, and WealthCare Saver says, oh, your account is still with Anthem, and therefore you can't access your information through WealthCare Saver. So basically, I'm locked out of my account in terms of seeing what's being charged to my account and seeing my balance. Now, when I call them, they will tell me my balance, but I can't see the transactions being posted. So that's frustrating. But I did finally find a way to get it where I'll receive an email saying that your transaction is posted to your account, but it doesn't tell me the dollar amount. So I have contacted them so many times via phone, via chat, both Anthem and WealthCare, and I keep getting the runaround. And so in that case, I have not been calm. I have used some curse words. I have gotten loud, everything, because I've been so frustrated. I have used all caps. I have asked to speak to a manager and all the things. And so there have been times where I've gotten pretty irate with them because the shit is really irritating. And so now I need to get my tax return done, and I haven't received my 1099. So last week I was going off, just frustrated. So, anyways, I can feel my nervous system getting whipped up just thinking about how frustrating it has been. But anyway, the good news is that this morning I woke up and I told myself just to try to remain calm. And when I got on the phone with the first lady from customer support, she wasn't listening to me. I was explaining the situation and what I've been through and what I needed. And all she kept doing is repeating that I needed to go to the Anthem website to access my tax form. And of course, part of me was like, bitch, you're not fucking listening. I told you a million goddamn motherfucking times that I cannot access my information on the Anthem website. I told her that like 3 times and she kept repeating the same thing over and over again. And you could see that's the not calm part of me, right? Which, people rarely get to see that side of me because I keep it under wraps, but still I felt myself the anxiety because I want to get my tax return done on time, and the anxiety of like her repeating the same information was just like, you're not listening. So anyways, I said, okay, I'm gonna stay calm. And all I just said was, can you all I said was, I've already told you that I cannot access my information and I feel like you're not listening. I would like to speak with the supervisor. Now, I might not have said it that politely, but it was like that. It was calm and peaceful. And so she put me on hold for a while. Now, this is after last week I was on the phone 2 hours getting transferred, I was put on hold for like 45 minutes and then hung up on. So that this is like, whew. So this morning I was like, okay, I'm gonna let her she said I'll get you a supervisor. And I was like, okay, thank you. And she put me on hold for a little while. And I was like, oh, this is going to be the same thing that happened last week where they put me on hold and kept me on hold for however long it was, 30, 45 minutes, and then hung up on me. So I got to the point of like starting to really get frustrated of like, oh, she's not putting the supervisor on the phone. She's just going to wait till I hang up because they hung up on me last time. I said, I'm going to stay on this phone and see how long it takes for them to respond. So needless to say, she did come back on the line, said, I have a supervisor for you. And I said, thank you. And the supervisor, while he didn't 100% resolve my issue, he didn't go back and repeat the same thing that the lady kept saying. And he actually, I would say, probably 80% resolved my issue. At the very least, he gave me the information I needed to go ahead and file my tax return, even without having the physical 1099 in front of me. And he said that that he would talk to the bank and see if they could email me my 1099, and as a backup, they will also send it in the mail. So I was like, okay. So the moral of the story is, for me, is that this morning things worked out, and I think that they worked out because I didn't fly off the handle. I stayed calm, I stayed regulated, and I, like, when that lady was coming to me with the bullshit, it was just like, I need to speak with your supervisor. And she actually got a supervisor, and the supervisor actually helped me. Whew, as you can see, it gets me even whipped up just thinking about it, because I've been through this so many times with them and the same thing. And so then I get so frustrated that it's like, fuck it, I'm not even going to keep pursuing it. And so for 2 years, I've been going through this, or a year and a half, however long it has been since I haven't been able to access my HSA account. And like I said, I had a decent amount of money in my HSA account and couldn't see the transactions being posted to it. And so I still can't see it. I'm just trusting that what is being posted to it is accurate. And like I said, the 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 better part is at least I'm getting emails now saying a transaction is posted, even though I can't see the dollar amount. At least I know, well, the transaction posted and I just did something that would make me receive that email. Whew. So the other moral to the story is that even when I'm working in customer facing positions, I notice that I'm much more willing to help someone when they stay calm and they stay pleasant and they stay unfrustrated. Even if they are frustrated and the situation is frustrating, I notice that I'm more willing, and I know this is true for all of us, not just me, but the kinder someone is, the more you really want to go out of your way to help somebody. And so I don't know that I remembered that this morning. I just told myself I want to stay calm. And this is like, 6 o'clock in the morning when I'm calling, because I called last night and they were already closed because their hours are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern time. And it's like, what about all the motherfuckers who have to work? Anyway, let me just pause there. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. I'm actually not wearing my mic, and so let's see how it sounds. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I have the window down because it's a little warm. Today is Thursday, April 2nd, 2026, and I am Nicole D, as in delightful, Ford. I go by Nicole D Ford Vegas on my main Instagram channel, although I made a backup channel called Nicole D Ford Vlogger that has no content on it yet. I also have a couple other channels, which all that's on the link in my bio, but my main channel that I post to regularly is Nicole D Ford Vegas. And subscribe to my YouTube channel. Basically, my Nicole D Ford Vlogger channel is where I've been posting my 2026 content. Although if you wanted to catch up on my vlogging since I started in July of 2025, that's also on my Nicole D Ford Vegas YouTube channel as well. And I think the playlist I may have linked somewhere on my Nicole D Ford Vlogger page. But anyway, if you really wanted to, you could find me. I'm back at the Las Vegas Convention Center, and today I didn't get here too early, but I had stuff on my mind that I wanted to talk about. So I was like, let me get down there, get my parking situated so I can relax and talk about what I wanted to talk about. So I'm going to go in around, or put my shoes on and go in around 9:15, even though my shift starts at 9:45, just to, take care of things before I go in. And then right now the time is 8:50. So I have about, 25 minutes. So it's enough time for me to talk about some of the things that I had on my list. Let me pause there real quick. So the first thing I wanted to say is that I actually ran into a neighbor that I never ever remember seeing in person, that I never met, since she lives 2 houses down, and I had left a note in her house at her door one day because my mom, when my mom was here helping me out when I was in the hospital in 2024, my mom loves to do outdoor work and I do not. And so every day my mom would be outside, like doing whatever. I don't even know what she was doing, but she would be outside in the mornings doing, I don't know if it was gardening or what she was doing, because Vegas, most of my landscaping is all rocks and stuff, so I don't know if she was sweeping or what she was doing, but she would be outside. And so some of the neighbors she got to know, but I never met these neighbors because I'm never outside. Like, I never want to be like caught up, or at least until today, caught up in a conversation that I can't get out of, and because I'm on the move and got stuff to do. So anyways, I was pulling out of my garage. So anyways, long story short, in 2025, last year, I needed a new pool guy because my pool guy had gone out of business, and my mom had recommended that I go talk to my neighbor. And I have some social anxiety sometimes. Sometimes I don't want to claim social anxiety, but sometimes I do experience social anxiety and a fear of going to the neighbor's house and knocking on the door and just introducing myself and talking. But I did go down to the neighbor's house, and I left a note on her door because she didn't answer, and then she called me, and so we talked on the phone because my mom told me that she has a pool and maybe she had a pool guy recommendation. So we had exchanged phone calls and I think text messages, but I never met her and never even saw her in person. So this morning, as I was pulling out of my garage, there was a lady walking down the street, walking her dog and waving at me. And so I waved back. And so I was like, hey, you're so-and-so, right? And so anyways, we actually had a nice conversation. It was lovely. I did not feel like socially like, oh my God, she's talking my ear off or nothing. Like, I felt like, okay, this works. And I'm glad that I was able to have a conversation with her. And so it was nice. So I just wanted to make an update of what I had just talked about, I think a couple days ago, about not socializing with my neighbors. And I had actually socialized with another neighbor too, went across the street and talked to him one time. But they've been more transactional because I've needed something. Like in his case, I needed somebody to paint the exterior of my house. And then in the case of the other neighbor 2 doors down, I needed a pool guy. And then in the case of the lady who lives next door, I forget how I got her number. I left her a note too one time. All of them, I think I've left notes because I felt awkward about, are they going to answer the door or not? Actually, I think the neighbor across the street, I went across the street, rang the doorbell, but I had a note ready just in case. And then he answered the door and I talked to him, and then I gave him the note with my contact information on it. Anyway, in the beginning, when I first bought my house, I had sent all of them letters introducing myself, and I think it was actually a card introducing myself and giving them my contact information, and told them that I'm more on the quiet side and probably will take time before I come and introduce myself. And then I just never did. I just thought, well, the letter will work. So anyways, this again is part of the whole introversion, social anxiety, however you want to define it, and just being afraid of being overwhelmed by somebody who's so talkative and sucks up all of my energy. But so far, even in the case of working, again, back in events, usually you're working with a partner. And in the case of working with a partner, all of my partners, except for the show that I did last week, have all been very talkative. And it hasn't overwhelmed me, which is interesting. I have actually enjoyed the conversation. I've been not wanting to talk to anybody when I got home, though. Not wanting to have any more social interaction, really, when I got off work. But generally speaking, the conversation hasn't been a problem. So, maybe over time I'm changing, or I'm maybe being better about managing my energy. And so it's like, if there's times where I feel like, hey, I'm not in the mood to keep talking, I feel more inclined to figure out a polite way to disengage from conversation. Like the conversation with the lady, the neighbor this morning, I did finally just say, hey, I got to go to work, but nice meeting you finally in person, or something like that. So maybe I'm doing better about figuring out how to manage my energy. So I'm going to pause there. Another perfect example is this week I'm working with a guy who is very, very social. He loves people, very, very positive, nice, pleasant, like laughing and just talking, and loves to talk. But he hasn't been overwhelming me either. So that's been interesting, because I know one day when I was going into another show, I was walking in and I thought that I saw him, and I was like, and I think I was filming, and I was like, oh, I don't want to go down that way because I don't want to run into him, because I didn't feel like all of that, like talk. But it has actually been nice talking to him and getting to know him, when I've worked so many shows with him in the past, but have kind of been like, oh, he's going to overwhelm me with too much talking. And there's another lady too that I thought was going to be too talkative, and it's actually been fine. So I think somehow something may be changing in me a little bit. And it also could be that I also have a very peaceful home, and so I manage my energy very, very well, in terms of like having peace and quiet in my life when I need it. So maybe that makes a difference too, so that I'm energized and I can deal with people who are more social. Because I worked a show recently also where the people next to me weren't talking at all, and it was like, oh my God, the day is going by so slow because y'all are not talking. So maybe I am changing. Anyway, the thing that I really did want to talk about, though, is that I have a family member, and I'm just going to say it, it's a cousin. And I feel like, I'm just going to come out right out and say it, I feel like this cousin is extremely self-absorbed. And the reason why I say that, there's a lot of reasons why I say it, but one of the things that's bothering me about this cousin is that I notice a pattern with them, is that they will engage on social media a little tiny bit with my content, but when they do engage, it's because they are either about to, or they are posting their own content that they want attention for. And they want attention so bad that they even send a text like, hey, look at my stories, kind of a thing. Like, they are starved for attention. I think it might be some kind of middle child syndrome or something like that. And so I do feel like, I understand what happens is that sometimes when you have a whole life and you have a whole job and you're doing social media and all the things, that sometimes you get caught up in what you're doing and you don't have time to engage with other people's content because you're so busy dealing with your own life and all the stuff that you have going on. And I know that I've been that way, and that even in the past when I've been so busy working that I have done a horrible job with keeping in touch with people and all the things, but I've really made it an intention to try to do better with staying in touch with people, just once a month or during holidays or other things, like checking in, how you doing, those kinds of things. I've really tried to do better with that with a lot of people, just because I know I don't like talking on the phone. So I've just tried to do those kind of check-in messages. And I know with social media, when you already have so much going on, that it can be hard to also engage with other people's content and comment and like and all the things. But what I would say is that with this particular cousin, they always look at all my stories, because on stories you can see at the bottom who watches stories. She watches all my stories, at least 95% of them, and never comments. Maybe every once in a while, but rarely comments, rarely likes or loves anything. And I figure by virtue of the fact that she's looking at my stories, that she's also able to look at my posts and my content, but also never commenting, liking, never reposting, never sharing, nothing. And her YouTube channel, I used to do the same thing. Like, I used to go to her YouTube channel, watch her content. I would like her content. I would comment on her content, but never receive the same thing in return. She's not even a subscriber on any of my YouTube channels. And so I finally, in my mind, was like, you know what? I'm not receiving any kind of reciprocal energy from this person. And I feel like the only time that I do get engagement from them, or even like, one time she sent me a text message not too long ago, hey, how you doing? Right? And so I responded how I was doing and what I had going on. She immediately just disregarded everything I said and went into what she had going on. And so I just feel like she's completely self-absorbed and doesn't really care. So I decided I'm not going to watch her stories. I'm not going to watch her posts. I'm not going to do anything. If she comes up on my TikTok, I'm not going to watch her TikToks. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to engage with her shit because she's not engaging with mine. And I stopped watching her YouTube channel, even though I don't even know if she's posting on it right now. And I just stopped supporting. And there's other people where I was noticing that I was reposting their stuff and posting their stuff to my stories and doing all this, and it's like, I'm not receiving any reciprocal energy, so why am I doing this? And so I just stopped. I just said to myself, you know what? I am on some reciprocal energy stuff now, and I'm going to reciprocate. And, there's still like some people that I support that don't give me any shine or any recognition or any, not even a thank you for reposting my stuff kind of a thing. But that's because this particular person that I repost is younger, and I want to support their business and what they're doing. And we were close when the person was little, and I feel somewhat bad for walking away from my entire family and living my life and doing my own thing. And so I feel like supporting her. But other than that, it's like, oh, y'all are not reciprocating, y'all are not responding, y'all are not commenting, y'all are not even checking on me. Like, not even saying, hey, how's it going? How you doing? Unless you have something that you want attention about. So anyways, I couldn't wait to get to the convention center, sit in the car and vlog about that today. That was so important to me to do that. So yesterday, this cousin that I'm talking about created a group chat and was posting pictures, and they were all commenting, and I was like, you know what, fuck her. I'm not gonna respond to anything, because I just feel like the only time she engages with me on social media and checks in with me is when she has something that she wants her attention about. And fuck that, Fuck that. I'm about reciprocal energy. So the other thing that comes to mind is diversification and diversifying your portfolio. And I mean that in the sense of like friends. I mean that in the sense of who you're connected to, who you give your energy to. All of that is not to be caught up in just one group of people. And I'm totally about that life now. And yeah. And that's it. I have other things to talk about, but I think it's going to be time for me to go in pretty soon. Yeah, I have 8 minutes before I'm going in, and there's sirens, so I'm going to call it a day. But I feel great. I really wanted to get that off my chest because I totally ignored. I put the group chat on snooze that she created and didn't respond to anything. Fuck all of them. None of them check on me. None of them. Like I said, except for that one cousin who checks on me, and it's only when she has something that she wants to brag about, and she's always bragging about something, flexing. It's bullshit. It's like, girl, get therapy. You always bragging about shit, and you're bragging about it because you have no life. Oh, I can't believe I just said that. And maybe I'm wrong for saying that, because I don't really know them that well, and they live in a whole different city. So maybe they do have a life, but I could be wrong. But I do think she needs therapy. All right, make it a great day. Let me clarify to say that I shouldn't have said that this person has no life, because I really don't know that. But I just think that this person is actually very unhappy and not happy with themselves. And they do all the flexing that they do and attention seeking because they do need therapy and they do need to deal with their issues. And so I think that that's what I'm really trying to say. But that's just my opinion. I don't really know them that well to know if that's the truth. But they certainly spend a lot of time gossiping about other people and telling other people's business, which is why I don't tell her my business, except for what I post, because let's just say I know for a fact that this person bends the ear of somebody that I know and tells everybody's business, and I just feel like a person like that is not happy in their life because they are focusing on talking trash about everybody else instead of focusing on themselves and making themselves happy. And then when they do things to focus on themselves and do things, it's all about the flex and flexing on social media and all the things. And I just think it's bullshit. Get therapy, sis. Get therapy. And for the record, what I also want to say is that for a time last summer, I was engaging with all their content. I was commenting, I was liking, I was loving, and the same thing on their YouTube channel. And I got, in the beginning when I started vlogging, she was very much engaging with my content. But then she just completely stopped. And it's like, okay, I understand you're busy, but bitch, I'm busy too. Oh, that's cold. So this is not the way I've historically been. I've historically been the type of person who has been taught to be a good person and to, it was like I grew up sending cards to everybody for every holiday, every birthday, remembering everybody's in my family, all their stuff, remembering everything and being a kind, generous person. Like that's how I was taught to be and grew up to be. And there came a point in time where it was like, wait a minute, nobody's ever reciprocating or sending me cards. Like what? And I'm not saying nobody, because some of my family did, but I realized that most of them weren't. And so why am I doing this? And so anyway, I might be on a little bit of FU energy this morning because I did on the way here listen to a little bit of I Don't Fuck With You by Big Sean, I think is the artist, because I was just really feeling that this morning of like, no, I'm not, even though you're trying to get attention, I'm not giving you any attention because you look at my goddamn stories every goddamn time I post a story and you don't give me no attention. So I'm not giving your ass any attention either because I don't fuck with you that way. And some people try to say, you know, family over everything, and sometimes I think family is the worst. They treat you worse than than anybody. And so yeah, I also am meeting people and creating relationships with people that reciprocate energy, and I appreciate that. And so I'm heading in the direction of reciprocal energy. Now I still do need that quote unquote local family to help me in the case of an emergency, and I haven't built that network yet, but I'm working on it. So yeah, she did recently comment on one of my TikTok posts and I think one of my Instagram posts. She did recently comment, but that's because she was getting ready to go on a trip and was going to be flexing on social media and wanted my attention. It's like, girl, you are so fucking obvious. And I know it's not easy. Like, I literally have to put stuff on my calendar and on my to-do list to engage with people, family, friends, etc. I literally have to put it on my to-do list and my calendar to remember to do it. To send DM messages, to send text messages, to reach out to people. Like, I literally just yesterday sent out messages for the beginning of April to people I want to stay connected with. You know what I mean? Like, it's an effort. And you really have to take the time to be intentional about it. So, anyways, maybe I have more to say about it, but I feel good. I'm so glad I got that off my chest. It's basically, hey, I'm going to reach out to Nicole because I have something that I want to brag about that I need attention for. So I'm going to reach out instead of just reaching out as a normal course. It's like, well, I have something to brag about, so let me pretend like I care about how she's doing, even though I know ultimately she cares, but just self-absorbed. Self-absorbed, and I deserve better. I deserve to be treated better. I deserve, just because we're family, you know, I deserve to be treated better, not just the afterthought. You know what I mean? Not just the fucking afterthought. Reciprocity. At the same time, we don't have a lot in common because she likes to get on the phone and gossip about other people, and I'm not interested in that. So, and then talk about TV shows, politics, a bunch of shit I'm not interested in. So that also creates part of the issue as well. We're not a vibrational match. Basically, she's low vibration, and so that could create some of the challenge as well. Morning.
Hi.
How are you?
How are you?
Good, good.
Into the Lowe's room and then
You'll see us there?
Yep.
All right.
Right there.
Sounds good. All right. That was a client that I just ran into. Anyway, this show's almost over, but hey. Pretty quiet. Show's not open yet. So now it is Thursday, April 2nd, and it's the afternoon. My job was easy peasy. The client was hella cool, hella nice, super duper cool. Was very, very giving, very complimentary of us, very just like appreciative of everything. And it was so wonderful working with her, as well as the partner that I had that I worked with. He gave me a bunch of information about different agencies that he works for, and companies that he's working for, and hooked me up with a potential referral for a place to hook up with. I mean, it was just wonderful. And so what I had on my list to talk about, but I didn't get a chance, it was on my vlog notes list, but I didn't get a chance to talk about it, is that I really resonate with people who are not overly critical, but who are appreciative, who say please and thank you, and just appreciate not just appreciate you, but appreciate the things in life and their blessings and all the things. And so it was just so wonderful to work with a client who was so happy with us and so easy to please, and just wonderful. And it just reminds me that I hate people who are overly critical. Like, I do not thrive in environments where a person is overly critical, doesn't appreciate you, doesn't appreciate the things that you contribute, is first to come up with a negative comment. And I really can't stand that. So it just puts me in such a great mood when I don't work with people like that. So that was one of the things that I wanted to say, because there was someone in my life recently that I'm no longer connected with, and thank God, because it was just like walking on eggshells of like, okay, what is going to get criticized next? And I do not even know how the people around them can stand it, because it's like, okay, what's gonna bother them now, and what's gonna get criticized or teased or made fun of, and that kind of shit. That to me is not an environment where you can thrive. You know what I mean? And the thing is I'm already critical in my head, and my inner critic can be loud. So I don't need anybody who's going to amplify that. And so I also try to be kind to myself and not be so critical of myself, and give myself mercy and grace. And so that's the other thing that I'm loving about the people that I'm gravitating towards, and that are gravitating towards me now, that are not in that negative headspace, because I can't deal with that shit. Anyway, the other thing I wanted to talk about briefly, or just mention, is that I'm starting to notice, and maybe it's just something that I wasn't noticing before, because my ex-husband used to say that guys would be trying to get my attention and talk to me, and that I was oblivious. And like when I was really young, like in high school and early college, before I started gaining a lot of weight, like I knew I would get a lot of attention from guys and from men, and it was always very awkward for me. And but as I started gaining weight, it was like I had in my head that no guy's really going to want me or pay attention to me. Like, I had very poor self-esteem as it relates to my attractiveness towards men. And so even though I did have relationships and people flirting and stuff like that, it was in my mind, I was more of the type of person who in my mind was unworthy. And so now it's very interesting to me that I am not interested anymore in dating uh, or just men just in general or relationship. Like, I'm very happy with my life, and to me, adding a man to it would just be adding complications to something where I'm happy. Like, there's nobody that I'm taking care of, nobody that I'm catering to, nobody that I have to worry about their, speaking of criticism, their criticism and their negative energy. Like, I really get to do me. And so, and then on top of that, with my hormones, I don't have a libido, so I don't have romantic feelings. And so it's like I feel liberated in the sense of like not yearning to have a relationship or yearning to have a man. And so what's so weird to me is that now more than ever, I feel like guys are talking to me and trying to get my attention and flirting and introducing themselves and doing all the things, and it's just like, Lord, where the fuck were all you guys when I and then maybe they were there and I just wasn't paying attention, but it's like, where in the hell were all you guys when I really wanted a man? And now that I don't want a man, it's like you guys are freaking, it almost feels like, Lord, another guy in my face talking to me. So anyway, I'm not complaining because maybe one day my hormones will change and maybe I'll be interested in having a man again, or maybe I'll change and want that companionship. But right now, I'm I'm just not interested. Not unless it was like a situation where somebody came along and was like a billionaire or a millionaire, and but even that I don't know, but still just could completely change my life and change my level of financial freedom and all that stuff. Maybe that would be a game changer, but other than that, I have no interest. And so it's interesting to me that now every time I turn around, it feels like some guy is in my face. It's just like, okay, this is weird. And I would add that in some ways, I sometimes think that the overweight thing and the fatness, besides some issues growing up, has also been protection, because when I was young, I got so much attention and then jealousy from other girls and all the things. And I'm not saying that to complain, but in some ways it's just like it can be overwhelming for somebody like me who has social anxiety and not knowing what to say and not knowing how to deal with it. And so in some ways the overweight thing has been a protective barrier. And so getting attention now, like the other day I was in the grocery store, and one of the guys in the grocery store was like loud and just reading my shirt and it was just like, oh my God. And I haven't wanted to go back in the store because I'm afraid of running into him because it's so loud and embarrassing. So anyway, I don't know. It's just a thought. It's also just very liberating not to live my life thinking about a man. Like it's wonderful. So even though, maybe there are people who will say, oh, hormonally, you need to get hormone replacement or whatever, and you're missing out. It's just like, considering how I used to be before and just always thinking about relationship and all the things, and finally getting out of the marriage that I was in and just, doing me and taking me time. It's like I am not wanting to go back to the place that I was as it relates to having a man. I do not want to ever be in that mental space again. And so I am loving life. Like I said, a billionaire to come take care of me and pay all my bills and do all that is a whole different story, and spoil me and carry the bags and do, that would be a whole nother level, but I've never experienced that, and I don't know that I will experience it. So other than that, just not interested. I appreciate the attention, but it's just like, dude, what the fuck? You're way too late. It's a wrap. It's over. Unless you like cooking and cleaning. Now that's a game changer. You pay all the bills and you like cooking and cleaning. Yeah, my interest level could actually go way up, but no, right now mentally I'm just like, you're just a hassle, a waste of my motherfucking time. So earlier I was talking about my cousin and how her reaching out doesn't feel genuine sometimes. The other thing is that because she gossips about, she doesn't necessarily gossip to me because I don't really talk to her like that. We just exchange more text messages, DMs every once in a while and stuff like that. But I don't really engage with her on the phone because I don't like talking on the phone. And she doesn't live where I live in Vegas. But the other thing I would say is that she's the type of person I feel like is the type of person that's either reaching out to gossip about somebody or to get information from you so she can go and talk about you to other people, or the conversation is all about her and what she's doing. So I feel like even if she were to reach out and say, hey, what do you have going on? Or, hey, what's going on? How you doing? All the things, she can't be trusted because it's just to gather tea to then go gossip about you to somebody else. So it's all a scam. It's all bullshit. And it's funny because I was talking to my coworker today, and he was talking about family and, how important family is and all the things. And I was like, dang, I was just talking about that. And like I said, sometimes to me, people who are not your family treat you better than your own family. So I don't know that I'm not a family over everything type of person, even though it has left me a little bit on the alone side. But I'm not a family over everything type of person. The people that I know that are called family are way too dysfunctional to me to sacrifice myself in my life, living in generational curses, trying to be with a family over everything idea. I try with family, but Lord, I don't resonate with them half the time. So anyway, love you from a distance. So there's this lady I follow on Instagram, and I think her name is Dr. Lalita or something like that. And she talks about overgiving and being the good girl and those kinds of things. And so I ran across a post in my timeline today from her that I think is just perfect for what I was talking about in terms of not reciprocating as it relates to this cousin who I feel is being completely self-serving when she's trying to give the appearance of genuinely being interested in what I'm doing, right before she's getting ready to start posting all the stuff that she's doing and then trying to get attention. Sometimes I think it's like, I know it's probably something that she does with the attention seeking with everybody, but sometimes because I feel like also too, in life that there's been a jealousy factor and all the things. And so anyway, and quite frankly, this is probably going to be like, if she ever saw this on YouTube, this would probably be the first YouTube video that she would actually comment on because she knows I'm talking about her ass. So anyways, I will, the doctor that I'm talking about had a good carousel post, and I think it's appropriate because it's not just my cousin's behavior, but it's also my behavior and how I was taught to be, and taught to be the quote unquote good girl. And I'm just not doing that shit anymore. So the perfect thing is that I never responded to the group chat where my cousin was flexing and showing her pictures, and nobody in the group chat called me out for not saying anything, but I never responded. It's like, I'm not giving you attention because you don't give me attention. You only give me attention when it's time for you to flex and do something or talk about something self-absorbed that you're doing, or trying to get gossip to go back and run and try to gossip about me. And it's like, well, you can't gossip about me because, first of all, I'm not telling you anything that I don't want people to know. Second of all, you can go watch my videos, my reels, my stories, and everything else, because all of that for me is public. So there's nothing that you can gossip about me that I have to hide that I'm not making public. Now, there's certain things that have happened in my life that I'm not necessarily going to go blasting all over the internet, but it's like, okay, well, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You start blabbing about me, I'll start blabbing about you. So anyways, I went off on a tangent. But anyway, the point is that I will post the carousel to the end of whatever this vlog turns out to be whenever I post it, because the whole good girl thing and not putting myself first is something that I'm really working on. I remember another thing is that the same cousin that I was talking about earlier also could be reaching out to you, talking to you, etc., also to try to tell you how to run your life, or to try to run your life. Very, very gotten a lot better, but still very, very bossy in terms of trying to tell you what you should do. It's like, girl, you need to focus on yourself and what your ass should do. And then on top of that, the other thing is that I know more information than what is shared in terms of the facade that is put out to the world. And so, for example, I'm flexing because I'm doing this and that, and I'm spending money doing this and that. And then you're turning around needing financial assistance because you can't afford the shit that you do. Now, I'm not trying to judge in the sense that, I get financial help, and, we all need help from time to time. But it's just that, it's that whole bullshit flex thing that it's just like, man, get therapy. Like, stop fronting and get help. Like, stop fronting and pretending and lying to yourself and the world about what your life is like when you know that you're not happy. And you're just flexing because you think that's going to make you happy. And then you got to flex some more because the shit is not making you happy. Ugh. So in the interest of getting out and enjoying myself and meeting new people, I went to a game night at Philly Freeze Me on April 2nd. And I went by myself, but I connected with three or four, maybe five other people that also came solo. And so we ended up having a good time together. I will also post the recap video that Studio Noel did. But I had a good time. It was fun. And so here's the footage. And let's see, Studio Noel. Okay, I'm going to have to mute her video because she has music in it. And I do not know that YouTube is going to allow me to post her voiceover. But you can see what she said about it in the captions. And we did have a good time. And we also did some photo booth action at the end. And so it was nice. I will post the photo booth pictures of us, and that was the group of ladies that hooked up. I kind of got cut off, but these were the only person that I knew was the lady in the tan shirt. Her name is Chantel. And actually the other lady in the yellow hat, her name is Courtney. I had seen her. I had met her. I'll keep the voiceover going, even though this is pictures of me at the National Hardware Show. But I had met Courtney at game night, but didn't really meet her. So we all ended up connecting and doing the photo booth together, even though we had come to the event alone. And now enjoy some photos from my week this week, as well as some, just some memes and different things I've been enjoying. So, on another random note, I just saw a post by Derek Jackson. I have no idea why he's in my timeline, but it said, if your man pays all the bills, are you willing to do the cooking and the cleaning? Or some shit like that it says. And I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, hell fucking no. I don't even want to cook for myself. I don't want to clean up after myself. I want you not only to pay all the bills, but pay the bill for somebody to cook for us, to go out to eat, and also to pay for somebody to do all the cleaning. That's what I'm saying. Like, otherwise, you're just a fucking hassle.